Colonial Sports Center.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Colonial Sports Center. My name is Kevin Plaucha.
And I'm Cam Macariola.
And we have got a loaded slate of Colonial sports to get through. Cam, we were in the meat and potatoes of some of the spring sports seasons, and despite it being some off seasons, we've still got plenty of news.
Yeah, we sure do. And we're going to start off with a game that we've been asking for so long, the night game at the Joe for women's lacrosse. They took on the crosstown rival Duquesne Dukes, and let's see how that game went. You'll see Courtney Grove, head coach, former Duke herself, attacker, 93 career goals, made the A-10 All-American team. And Colonials have been starting off slow this season in the first quarter, down 2-0 here. But you'll see Isabella Teal, remember that name for this game, as she makes it 2-1. And then, with just a minute left in the first quarter, you'll see Chelsea Coleman make a move and go towards the net and score the goal to give the Colonials a lead. That moves us to the second quarter. Jenna Irwin got a little bit of contact earlier in the first quarter, but she got back, was okay, and would find herself on the score sheet right there. What a goal by Jenna Irwin, having another phenomenal season. But that would be a dominant performance for the game. Isabella Teal finishes the game with 4 goals as the Colonials win by a score of 14-8 over the Dukes.
Yeah, the video got a little cut off there, but Cam, nice win there by the Colonials, able to beat the crosstown rival, as you put it. Nice to see. Despite them starting slow, they were able to pull away late and win that game.
Yeah, every time that the Dukes seemed to find momentum to get themselves back in the game, Isabella Teal would score the goals late to keep the Colonials out ahead of them, and it was just a phenomenal performance. You know, before that, Duquesne was 4-0 against MAC teams, beating Akron, Detroit Mercy, Eastern Michigan, and Youngstown State against all these MAC opponents, 4-0. But Colonials, being in the MAC champions, they're one of the toughest ones. A little bit of a slow start. They would be the first ones to defeat the Dukes.
Yeah, people had been clamoring for that night game. They got it, and the Colonials took full advantage. Well, Cam, that was a good game. A game that happened a little bit earlier that day that was even better was men's lacrosse. They took on Queens at the Joe. Their last game, it was a 14-10 win last year. They were looking for another one against the struggling Royals. We've got highlights, and here they are. First quarter, Colonials versus Royals at the Joe, 1-1. Colonials with a man up. Elliot Holden to the middle of the field, and he scores. That was his 19th goal of the season. Just under 5 minutes later, Queens finally answers. That was a laser from Ethan Scafitti. That ties the game at 2, his 7th of the season. Second quarter, Queens up 4-2. Dylan Benke, wow, what a move to get by Gavin Padone. He goes 5-hole for the goal. That was his 6th. Royals up 5-2. Later in the quarter, Ben Starkey, remember that name. He finds Keen Moon with a beautiful pass. Moon puts it in easily, his 9th goal of the season. Colonials would trail 6-3 at the half. Third quarter, Colonials begin the third quarter with some fantastic ball movement. Bobby Reum finds David Burr, who finds Ben Starkey, who whips it in by the Royals goalkeeper. And that would make it 6-4. Cam, just an unbelievable game here. Just a minute later, the Colonials make it 6-5. Listen, a little bit later, the story of this game was Ben Starkey. He had 4 goals on the day. Early fourth quarter, David Burr, Will McLeod, they have a nice back and forth. Burr actually goes behind the back. A beautiful play there that could even appear on SportsCenter Top 10. Final seconds of regulation, though. I mean, just wish we had the video for it. But Colonials are up 1 and up a man. It's a desperation heave down the field. Jack Royer fires and he scores. We go to overtime, and Ben Starkey, he's limping off the field after he scores the goal. His 4th and final sends everybody home. Colonials win 14-13 in an absolute thriller at the Joe.
Yeah, it was a party at the plaza at the Joe Walton Stadium. I was there outside working game cam for that game, and oh my goodness, it came down to the final seconds. The goalkeeper gets it behind the net and just throws it down the field, and I was like, there's no way this could go in. But they just found a way to claw back, and RMU has been in many overtime games, and you're like, here we go again for them. They've dropped to Canisius earlier in the season, but just to see them in overtime beat the Queens. But at the Joe, it was a party at the Plaza as the women's lacrosse team hopped on the field after the men's. And let's take a look at how they fared against Youngstown State Penguins. And you'll see a 17-6 win for the Colonials. YSU came into the season tied for 5th in the preseason poll, and they had 12 transfers out of their program. A tough hit for them, and that is why they are winless on the season. I'm not sure what much you can do with that. But Colleen Tift, it was her birthday on Wednesday, but the gifts came early. 5 goals, 3 assists, career highs in both categories, or in goals and points on the day. A phenomenal performance. And Sydney Riker back in the crease, 10 saves, getting back on track to what she is capable of doing. She was dealing with a little bit of a nagging injury, but 10 saves, phenomenal performance.
Yeah, 10 saves. Really nice to see the Colonials get back on track and do what they do best, which is win, especially against a winless team, taking care of business. Now, Cam, it was a jam-packed Saturday, both at home and on the road. The softball team was in action in Highland Heights, Kentucky for a 3-game set against the Northern Kentucky Norse. Let's take a look at how the softball team did over the weekend. Game 1, Colonials take it 5-2 over the Norse. Catalina Saxon opened the scoring with a 2 RBI single. Caitlin Mola-Torres, she pitched a solid 4 innings, giving up 2 runs and just 3 hits. Key point of this game came in the top of the 6th inning. Northern Kentucky gave up 5 walks, allowing RMU to score 2 runs easily on their own and bolster their lead. As you see, for Northern Kentucky, Jenna Rhodes had 2 hits for NKU, but not enough to stop the Colonials in Game 1.
Yeah, discipline at the plate is a huge talking point by Coach Jex Varner. But let's hop over to Game 2. Colonials squeak one out by a score of 1-0. Kaylin Kampf, brought in on a Logan Black, confirmed Philadelphia Philly fan like myself, would bring the runner in on a fielder's error in the top of the 4th, and in pitching, Jane Garver with 3 Ks, 5 innings pitched, 1 hit allowed, and Madison Duvall came in. 4th save of the season, only gave up 1 hit herself on that. But unfortunately, the Colonials could not complete the sweep in Northern Kentucky as they would drop the 3rd game by a score of 7-4 on Sunday.
Nice weekend in Kentucky for Colonials softball. When we come back, we've got more off-season basketball news, and we check in how the golf team did in Morgantown.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years, and I got my 3rd child, who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. It's still off season, and we're still getting breaking news every week coming out of the basketball program. Kevin, what do you have in store for us?
Yeah, listen, well, when you're getting news about basketball in the offseason, it's usually not good because of the emergence of the transfer portal. And here we are, 2 more transfers for the men's basketball team, and both guards. We'll start with TJ Wainwright. 22 minutes per game this season. He took his average way up, nearly doubled his minutes per game, jumped all the way from 2 points per game up to 10 points per game. His career high came on January 17th against Detroit Mercy in that double overtime thriller, 30 points there. Now also, Alfredo Baglio has hit the transfer portal. Just 2 hits to the guard depth that we already saw with Josh Corbin and Jackson Last. Right now, Justice Williams is the only guard that I can think of that's currently in a starting position on the team. But Baglio, he played in 14 games, season high 10 points very early in the season, but it was in a big game at Wisconsin. He suffered a foot injury mid-season and wasn't able to come back from that, but still just 2 hits to the guard depth.
Yeah, tough loss for the Colonials. Wainwright was a great player. He was kind of nagging on his knee injury. You would see him gain momentum and it would just stop as he would have to go down the tunnel, hop on the bike. So we'll see. Hopefully he can go somewhere and find his game and hopefully stay healthy. Best of luck to both of these players. But going out, stuff must come in, and RMU just recruited a new player, and Josh Amajafo, as he was a phenomenal standout player at Gannon University. Kevin, you got more details about him?
Yeah, I have just a couple more details about him. Cam, I believe you told me prior to the show that he scored 30 points twice. He was a big part of this year's Gannon team that I believe went all the way to the Elite Eight in the D2 basketball tournament. So, Cam, you see his stats there, if you want to read a couple more of his stats.
Yeah, take a look. 20 points average, 2.8 rebounds per game, and 1.4 assists, and a steal and a half per game, shooting the lights out 48%, 31% from 3. So hopefully he can make that jump to D1 and keep those same exact numbers.
Yeah, well, it's obviously tough transitioning from D2 to D1, but I mean, we saw it with Mercyhurst. They just made the jump from D2 to D1, so maybe it won't be too big of a jump for Amajafo, but as you can see, there's some big numbers that he put up again, and was a big reason why they were able to go on their tournament run. Now, Cam, we talk all the time about players entering the transfer portal and coming out of the transfer portal and joining new teams. Well, guess what? The same is done with coaches. We just don't talk about it as much. The women's basketball team has recently hired 2 new assistant coaches. The first is Lauren Edwards. She is a bit of a hometown hire from Hampton, PA, so not too far from here. Previous school was Providence. Her previous role, she was the grad assistant coach at Providence. She actually was a player, played at Loyola for 4 years, 2 as a starter, and she comes in as an assistant coach. The other is Jack Trosper from Corpus Christi, Texas. His previous school was Southern Miss. His previous role was also an assistant coach, so a lateral move there. Prior experience, he was the head coach at Wabash and at Southern Illinois College. So 2 new assistant coach hires for the women's basketball team.
Yeah, and women's basketball wasn't the only one making hires, as women's soccer brought in a new coach of their own, and it's good for the program getting these new coaches in, getting ready for this upcoming season to bring in these new players.
Yeah, it's just really helpful to get new assistant coaches in early, so you can help prep for the season. Just very nice to get used to the faces that you're seeing, whether it's coaches, assistant coaches, trainers, anybody on the staff. So very nice to see both those assistant coach hires by women's basketball and women's soccer.
Yeah, let's move on to the Lynx, Kevin, shall we?
Yeah, that's right. After a solid showing last week in Lafayette Hill, the golf team looked for another in Monday's Mountaineer Invitational. Let's check the final standings to see how they did. Coming off a 3rd place finish at Lafayette Hill, the Colonials finished tied for 12th with a total of 911 strokes, a score of plus 47 for the tournament. You see West Virginia, the hometown team, a score of minus 18. Second place was plus 10, so a dominant performance from them, but the Colonials finished tied for 12th. We'll take a look at some notable finishers, including 5th-year Alex Seelig, who we always seem to mention whenever we discuss golf. He finished tied for 42nd with a score of plus 10. Logan Hess and Josh Nagy finished at plus 15, Peyton Iverson plus 17, and Parker Johnson plus 20, and tied for 81st. That is how the golf team did at the Mountaineer Invitational.
Yeah, last week, it was our games to watch. They finished 13th out of 13th, so they make the jump up 1 spot, and finished 12th out of 16 teams. So a good jump for them. I'm not sure if I could do any much better. I mean,
I certainly couldn't.
If you looked at it, West Virginia played home field advantage, home course advantage.
Yep. You could tell by the standings there.
Finishing
minus 18
like 20.
to plus 10, finishing 28 strokes ahead of second place.
Man. But when we come back, we got more in store for you, Colonial Awards. So stay tuned here at Colonial Sports Center.
Bring it.
Oh!
late to dinner. My mom's gonna kill me. Catch you guys later.
Mom wants us home.
Okay. Bye, guys.
You guys need a ride?
Sure. Yeah. All right. How about some one-on-one?
I gotta go eat, man. Sorry, I'll see you later.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. It was award season last night for the Colonial Choice Awards, but Colonial Sports Center, we have an award ceremony of our own tonight. Kevin, what's in store?
Yeah, absolutely, we do. Josh Woodman has more about the Colonial Sports Center edition of Colonial Choice Awards.
Welcome back to CSC, everybody. My name is Josh Woolman, and I've been an associate producer for this show for the last couple months. Since the year is winding down, we've decided to do the first time ever to give out our own awards to the athletes, teams, and coaches we cover every week. Me, our executive producer Michael Deemer, and the rest of the staff that makes this show run, sat down and picked out the nominations and winners for every category this year, as you'll see. As you'll see also, many of our nominees and winners have been recognized by the school in their respective leagues. We have a lot of awards to get into, so let's get started. Starting off, we have our largest category, Freshman of the Year. Every season, freshmen are tasked with roles many wouldn't expect from them at a Division I level. Specifically so early, their skills and ability at such a high level, mixed with their mindset and experience, have landed them on this list. Natalie Stepanovich's performances in volleyball have helped the team overcome many close games. Shauna Gamble became a key part late in women's soccer and contributed heavily in the team's historical Horizon League tournament run. Tanner Klimke tallied 15 goals and 11 assists in his debut season with RMU hockey. And finally, on the other side of the ice, we have a hat trick of nominees from women's hockey. Janelle Evans, Elena Giampietro became mainstays in the women's hockey return season. Giampietro and Evans combined for 10 individual awards along with their goaltender Maggie Hatch. Hatch and Giampietro both made the CHA All-Rookie team and were integral on both parts of the ice. And the winner is Maggie Hatch. Hatch's performances helped the team to a CHA playoff win in their first season back. She's also been named CHA Goalie of the Week once and was named to Goaltender of the Month last October for her in her first collegiate season. Congrats to her and the rest of the women's hockey. Next up, we have our Team of the Year. With two of these teams coming back from the dead and making playoffs, another breaking records and gathering a first playoff win in program history, and others overcoming odds and expectations, we have a lot of teams who deserve this award. The nominees are men's and women's hockey for their performances in their first season since the programs were cut, women's soccer's historical run, earning the most consecutive wins in program history in a Horizon League tournament berth, and a win lands them a nomination, along with the men's soccer who fell just short of the tournament berth first season with a new roster and head coach, and football, who made large improvements on last season and brought back smiles and fun to the Joe Walton Stadium. And this winner is women's soccer. For their impressive season, going 12-5-1 overall with a Horizon League record of 5-4-1, the team also beat Wright State in their first round before eventually bowing out to eventual champions Milwaukee in the semifinals. It'll be interesting to see how they carry on without Coach Chris Shaw this season. Speaking of coaches, moving on to Coach of the Year, our five nominees obviously directly connect to the prior category as they were the face of their teams through their many highs and lows last season. Football's Bernard Clark has led RMU for the last 6 seasons and oversaw a large improvement compared to the season prior. Now departed Chris Shaw saw his project completed with women's soccer, taking them from strugglers to winners in his time here. Derek Schooley also led men's hockey to an AHA playoff win in his first season back, along with his counterpart Logan Biddle, who overachieved in his team's debut season with a And finally, Jonathan Potter accomplished a lot in his first season with men's soccer, falling just short of Horizon League tournament play, but starting the foundations of a successful team in the coming years. And the winner is Logan Biddle. His team's conference record of 11-8-1, along with producing top talents like Elena Gianpietro, Janelle Evans, and Maggie Hatch in their first year, earns him this award, and they'll be sure be a team to watch in the coming seasons. Now for the individual players of this year's men's and women's, starting with men's. Many on this list overperformed on and off their ice court fields and showed what it really means to be a Colonial. David Burr is back to his best for RMU lacrosse, and even in the midst of his season, he's showing he deserved to be nominated as the leading face of Colonial Lax with 27 goals and 9 assists already. Marquise Hastings will also dearly be missed next season for men's basketball. Leading the team in scoring, Hastings proved to be overall a friendly and worthy leader for Andy Toll's team. Noah Robinson's breakout season for football cannot be understated, gathering 846 yards in his first season. And earned him a Hobie Baker nomination.
Well, when we come back, we've got our games to watch here on CSC.
You told me not to talk to strangers. You told me not to cross the street without looking both ways.
You told me not to touch the stove. You told me not to do drugs.
You told me not to drink and drive.
You gave me so many messages about how to stay safe. Why didn't you keep me safe by properly storing your gun?
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Worried about your friend, but don't know how to reach out?
You could say how are you or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR. It's so good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should. Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health.
Whatever gets you talking.
Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Kevin, before we hop into our games to watch for this upcoming weekend, there was a track and field. We're partaking in the Bison Challenge over at Bucknell. Let's take a look. Bison Outdoor Classic. Let's take a look. Julia Dill finished third in the 1 mile run at a 5:15. Kevin, I don't know about you, but I'm running double that to get to a 1 mile. And speaking of Julia Dill, broke a 12-year-old school record on the 5,000 meter with a time of 17 minutes, 17 seconds, 0.29, just in case. You gotta focus in on that 0.29. But that's an improvement of 96 seconds for her time. And take a look at the rest. Finishing 5th in the shot put, Maisie Fry. Laura Crocco 7th in that mile. Emma Gian Cruftsford 1 mile, 5 minutes, 24 seconds. Juju Page Doherty 11th in the 400 meter. Maisie Fry once again in the discus throwing a 40.13. Gabrielle Parker 15th in the 100 meter hurdle. And Reina Tordero 16th and 19th in the triple long jump and the long jump. A good weekend for the Colonials all in all.
Yeah, absolutely, considering that broken record. And Maisie Fry, you see her name on there twice. United High School legend for all the records that she broke at her time during high school at United. Cam, it's time. Our games to watch. I'm going to let you go first.
Well, my game to watch is men's lacrosse as they head down to the Mizzou to take on Lindenwood. That is their second ever meeting against Lindenwood. Lindenwood just joined the ASUN this season or last season. But last time they met, 18-12 was the score. My players to watch. David Burr has been an offensive weapon for the Colonials. 27 goals, 9 assists, 36 points total on the season. Lindenwood struggling so far this season, winless, and Flint Thielen would have to be the one to get them in that win column. 16 goals, 3 and 19 points on the season.
Yeah, listen, David Burr, I would also include Ben Starkey off that 4-goal performance against Queens. Listen, in the video that we couldn't show, he was literally hobbling off the field after his 4th and final goal to give RMU the overtime win, so I would include him too. My game to watch, my final game to watch of the semester, it is softball versus Cleveland State here at the North Athletic Complex. Saturday and Sunday, a 3-game series. Colonials swept the Vikings last season, looking to do it again. It's Kaylin Hopp for the Colonials, 720 OPS, 12 RBI, 27 hits, doing a very good job. And it's Emma Gilkerson for Cleveland State, 5 home runs, 14 hits, 14 RBI, and 27 hits. Colonials looking to continue their solid conference play.
Yeah, season's been moving so quickly. Just a few more series left. A trip over into Pittsburgh for the Colonials. Every time Pitt tries to come out here, it seems that game gets canceled.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, hopefully when the Colonials go out to Pitt, 1, it doesn't get canceled because we've seen so much rain in the last 2.5 weeks, but 2, the Colonials are able to get it done against the, I guess, another crosstown rival. We like to use that phrase here on CSC, crosstown rival Pitt.
Yeah, but hopefully they keep growing and the weather keeps getting better and we'll all go out and enjoy us some softball.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like we mentioned at the start, spring sports are just in full spring. Cam.
So, Kevin, what has been your favorite part all year long, all sports, since this is your last CSC for the semester until next fall? What's been the best moment so far?
You're really putting me on the spot. If you're talking about, are you talking just this year or career-wise, like the whole time?
We'll go this year.
I think just being able to consistently host and just be able to provide Colonial sports information. Right now, you're putting me on the spot too much. I really can't. I can't think of one specific
You're
moment.
bringing yourself some time to think of games.
To try and think of something. Listen, honestly, it was probably going to be Queen's overtime win.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you would go with the buzzer beater in basketball.
Oh yeah, there were quite a few. There were quite a few of those. Listen, it was
the hockey, Penn State. Women's hockey, how electric it was
right,
at
with Nate Breisinger on the
island.
Call. Yeah, it's been a long year, but Cam, I'll ask you too because we have a little bit of extra time.
This is your last time with me.
Yeah, this is my last time hosting with you this isn't your last show, but it's my last time hosting with you. Cam, favorite moment from this year?
Well, I'm gonna go with a fall moment because I'll save my spring moment for next week.
You better watch for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with my fall moment. I think the Anthony Chickett touchdown trick play to finally beat that nagging losing streak being held over RMU's head. Yeah. The jerseys that we all want to forget about. Well, somebody forgot about them. But the Chickett touchdown versus St. Francis night game, and just getting ready for some NEC action once again.
Absolutely.
Next fall.
Cam, that's going to do it for this edition of Colonial Sports Center. For everyone upstairs in the control room and downstairs here on the floor, my name is Kevin Plaucha.
And I'm Cam Macariola.
And we will see you next week.